Sydney Olympic Park, the second NRL stop this Super Saturday, and it's a Western Sydney showdown. The Bulldogs against the Panthers. Matt Russell, Jimmy Smith and Gary Belcher with you in commentary. Badge, the Panthers have some fans in, as do the Dogs. And for the Panthers, they are still alive. Who would have thought?
Well, who would have thought, given both of these teams started the season with one win from their first six, Matt? I think it's a credit to both clubs, both of their coaches, that they've managed to get their sides out of that hole and far enough that they're still alive into the finals. Of course, Canterbury will be there. The Panthers, they need to win this game tonight. Here's how their team will line up. At the back, Lachlan Coote, Josh Mansour and David Simmons are on the wings. In the centres, Lewis Brown and Dean Varey. In the halves, it's Isaac John in the 5/8 role. Luke Walsh at halfback, as always. Tim Grant, Kevin Kingston, the skipper, and Sam McKendry will be up front in the forward pack. Clint Newton, Ryan Simpkins and Sika Manu in the back row. And the Panthers bench is Seguiaro, Smith, Masoi and Plum, and their coach. Having a chat now, Ivan Cleary.
A very settled squad over the past fortnight. Nigel Plum returning today. They have 10 wins, 12 losses for the season. Win their last two, go to 12 and 12. And who knows, they could play finals footy in 2013. The Dogs, 12 wins, 10 losses. And this is the way they look tonight. Josh Morris in the fullback role for a fifth game in a row, with Ben Barber heading to Brisbane. Mitch Brown and Sam Perrott on the wings, both in good try-scoring form. The centres, Tim Laffey and Krishnan Inu. In the halves, it's Josh Reynolds and Trent Hodkinson. And up front, a couple of workhorses, the Blonde Boppers, Aidan Tolman and James Graham. Mick Ennis, the captain, in the middle. The back row, Tony Williams, Dale Finucane and Josh Jackson. Leaving the bench as Dean Hallertau. The debutant, Lachlan Burr, a Canterbury junior, who we'll talk more about during the game. Tim Brown, and of course, rounding out the 17 for the Dogs is Martin Torpau. Well, a win for the Dogs locks up a top 6 finish. As for Penrith tonight, Jimmy Smith, they've just got to keep winning.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Matty. There seems to be a level of complexity around who can, could and should make the top 8 based on points accrued and points differential, and really it's probably a lot more simple than that. And of course that is that both these teams need to keep winning. The Bulldogs need to win to maintain that home game for the first week of the semi-finals, and of course they need to keep winning for the sake of winning. The Panthers, as you mentioned, well, they need to keep winning to keep their season alive, and they've been able to do that over the last couple of weeks on the back of three things: outstanding go forward, and what you've mentioned, really good completion rates, and that X factor from the bench in the form of James Seguiaro. It all adds up to an outstanding game here at ANZ Stadium, Matty, and for mine, I think it's the Panthers in a close one.
I agree, Jimmy. You've got a great seat tonight. It's been a beautiful day in Sydney. Another one. August is meant to be winter, but it's been very much a spring day. Great conditions for the spectators, and these players won't mind either, as the Panthers head on to what they are treating as a sudden death game, hoping to set up next week's game against Manly as a shot for finals footy. Not far for their fans to travel. Off wins against the Warriors and the Broncos, scoring 28 points in each of those games, the Panthers. Lachlan Coote straight on and into the fullback role, and Josh Mansour, just one of the players to return in the back half of this season. Sika Manu in jumper 12 is another one, Badge.
Yeah, he's a real handful, isn't he, when he wants to get into the game. I reckon he needs to get into the heavy stuff early. There's a danger of him drifting out of the contest, but he's always a threat, particularly close to the opponent's goal line. Canterbury now on their way out.
There wasn't much noise as Penrith ran on. It will get a bit more boisterous as the home team takes to ANZ Stadium. Michael Ennis emerges from the smoke, and the Bulldog jaw. There is Josh Morris, and as is always a wonderful sight, accompanying the next generation of players onto the field.
Yeah, as you said before, Matt, it's his 5th straight game at fullback, and he's been outstanding at the back. His form, I think his form has probably helped pave the way for Ben Barber to get the release from the club. I think the They've realised they have got a very capable replacement there. And the big Englishman, James Graham, he's been great of late. He's got a motor to match that body. 43 tackles last week, and he played the entire game bar 5 minutes up front.
Sikamanu ready to go after returning from a thumb injury. There's Josh Jackson patrolling a sideline, and cruising it into Sam McKendry. What a year, fighting back from a neck injury. The referees, Jared Sutton and Gavin Reynolds. Is their life for the Penrith Panthers still after this one? It's the Dogs running towards the southern end of ANZ Stadium, and typically busy start from Reynolds, who takes the kick-off and elects to have the first run. This is Jackson. Canterbury's Rookie of the Year in 2012, Josh Jackson, and onto his flatmate, Dale Finucane. Their careers have gone side by side. Ennis to Tolman. And he's tackled by Kingston, with Farah involved as well. Now James Graham. There were 4 Englishmen front and centre last night for South Sydney, and James Graham would love to do likewise for the Dogs this evening as Reynolds completes with a kick towards the back. It's taken comfortably by Lachlan Coote. Pushed backwards by Jackson and Finucane. Ennis is there to lend his weight to the tackle. And they look to muscle up in defence, the Dogs. Mansour, who is always a handful.
You can often get a handle on how teams are going to play by their first set of 6 defensively. The Panthers were pretty good there. There's a lot of aggression about this Bulldogs side in their first lot of tackles.
Clint Newton finishes 13 short of halfway. Ahead centre field to Walsh. Now McKendry, who stays on his feet. The last for the Panthers, who will complete their first set through Walsh, who goes along the ground. And it sits up for Morris. The reigning Dally M Centre of the Year is his future as a fullback for the Dogs. This is Mitch Brown. 11 tries for Mitch so far this season, easily his best year. Graham gives it on to Reynolds, quick hands, and Jackson will fight his way to halfway. They go the same way with Reynolds to Inu. He gets away from McKendry. In fact, it was McKendry, it was Grant that he beat, and McKendry finishing him off, helping out his fellow front rower. Again towards the short side. Ennis through it infield. And Jackson will play it on the last. In fact, they get a penalty instead.
Hey, Street.
Josh Mansour, the man penalised.
I think McInnes was letting the ref know he could have penalised him for another reason as well. With plenty of chances this afternoon.
Wait till he taps it. Hold.
It's not a game of rugby league days unless Nick Ennis gives us his audition for a future refereeing career. Here he is from acting half to Hodkinson and running onto the ball very flat, doing well to take it. It was Tolman. Now Graham. James Graham reaching out and scoring the first try for the Dogs. The second of his NRL career. And it was pretty soft for the big Englishman.
It was very soft. They almost had a chance, the tackle before on the left. Walsh had to rush out of the line. They couldn't get the ball to big Tony Williams, but there was a lot of space. They've come back to the right, near the posts. And look, they're all worried about the outside. He steps inside. The cover defence is too late or unable to stop him charging his way over the line from a couple of metres out. He's a big boy. You're going to take more than one defender or two to stop him that close to the line. It's a great start for the Bulldogs.
Well, Sam and Luke Burgess crossed last night, and the English favour continues early here. James Graham, just his second NRL try. He scored in round 20 against Parramatta. That was his first. He'll consider himself a 5'8", running and scoring like that. Trent Hodkinson hitting them at 75%. He was 50% last week. In fact, he's landed 11 from 19 over the last month. Down on his great start to the season. Too much attention, giving him the yips a little. This is a nice warm-up this evening. Just to the right of the uprights. He makes it 6-0. And what a great start for the Dogs, Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, excellent start, isn't it? And Badge, you made mention of how important, how indicative a side's first set of defence is. And we saw a good one from the Panthers, but what they weren't able to do was do a second one. The 5th tackle penalty is a killer for them, and they weren't able to keep the Bulldogs out. They're going to have to improve that. It's an excellent start for the Blue and Whites.
Walsh with the restart. The Dogs certainly make you pay for penalties. No side scores more tries in the set after a penalty than Canterbury.
They've just added to that statistic, haven't they? As Jimmy Smith pointed out. Did it easy, really.
Finucane giving it to Hodkinson, and he's tackled by Walsh and Farray. And James Graham. In his second season at the Dogs, James Graham, as Reynolds kicks in behind Josh Mansour. It rolls towards Coop, who kept his hands out of the way. The crowd roared, but the referees were right there.
They got it right. He got his hands out of the way. The last moment there, Lachlan Coop.
Lewis Brown running into Ennis and Tolman. He's tackled by Finucane. This is Sikamanu almost getting away. He draws consecutive tackles from Finucane, assisted by Graham. Walsh dummies to throw it back inside. Now it's Farray. Still going upfield, Dean Farray. It's a strong run from the Penrith centre. Carrying Graham and Tolman with him. The two Canterbury props as Isaac John goes long to Lewis Brown. Lewis Brown creates numbers, back inside, and Isaac John is over. An immediate answer from Penrith. They weren't down for long, and Isaac John, after scoring a hat-trick against the Warriors much earlier in the season, gets his 4th for the year.
That looked too easy, didn't it? The Dogs defenders, the long ball just has them turning out, and Christian Inu can't stay with Lewis Brown. A bit surprised about that. It's a great ball, the long ball here from John that hits Lewis Brown. He's played a lot in the centres. He's regularly a back rower. He showed a clean pair of heels there. I know he made Inu turn and chase. He just couldn't get to him. Good backing up with the inside from the 5'8" John.
He was re-signed early this season. And with Peter Wallace coming, with Jamie Soward coming, with Lachlan Coote still in the mix, Isaac John has a point to prove. He wants a first-grade position at Penrith next year as well.
He's been great. I think their combination, John and Luke Walsh, has worked beautifully for most of the season.
Luke Walsh, a sharpshooter with 65 from 77 this season, 84%. Trying to level us up. Didn't get it as he would have liked, but still steers it through. Jimmy, is this the sort of game we're in for? A point shootout?
Yeah, 9 minutes in, 12 points scored. Could be anything, Matty. I think, Badge made mention of the fact how easy the scoring play was. What was even easier was the whole set of 6. It started with the near knock-on from Lachlan Coote, and then Sikamanu made good metres. Dean Farray made good metres. And then, as you said, the Isaac John long ball to Lewis Brown caught them out. If it's a point shootout, it's going to be fun to watch.
Missed the run from Farray. Stood out, didn't it? Lugging Graham and Tolman with him. Back on level terms. Yet to hit the 10-minute mark. As McKendry goes up the middle. Kingston. This is Ryan Simpkins. angling towards the eastern sideline. And now Manu. Isaac John runs again, dummies, and takes the tackle from Jackson and Graham. This is Walsh on the last, driving it towards the wing of Perrott, who has it now. Sam Perrott, what a year he's having. 17 tries for the season, easily his season best. The previous mark was 9 for Sam Perrott. That's a big couple of weeks. He could yet finish top of the try scoring for the season.
Well, the bloke up the top's on the opposite wing, playing in the right wing for the Panthers, David Simmons.
Reynolds to Jackson, who fired a ball meant for Perrott, but it touched in and went forward.
Now, I know these can look like they don't go forward, but the football from the hands of Inu actually does travel forward. He just overruns it there. But a bit of a mix-up. You're right, Matt. That ball was meant to cut him out and hit the winger.
All the way to the back, Josh.
There are 3 wingers out there having their best season in terms of try scoring. Perrott, Mitch Brown, and of course the man on top, David Simmons, as you mentioned, Badge. Isaac John through Coote, now Farah. He's wrapped up by Tim Laffey. Manu had a great running game against the Broncos last week, travelling for 143 metres. McKendry plays it, and Kingston sends it to Walsh, deep to John, long now to Josh Mansour, just one in front of him, a fund, and Josh Mansour goes straight around Josh Morris. He's left punching the ground in back play as Mansour celebrates.
We were just talking about the try-scoring feat of the other 3 wingers on the field. Well, this bloke's a beauty. He's not only fantastic, carting the ball up, getting good metres for his team. He's got good footwork. He's very, very strong. And he just gives the big shove to a big man. Josh Morris coming across in cover defence. He found a little bit of space. He stood him up for a moment. It's a great ball over the top from John. He realised he had a tiny bit of room to work with, and he backed himself. He'll be disappointed with that effort there, Josh Morris. But it's a tough one to get these tackles right, especially against a bloke with that sort of footwork.
Big Mossy loved it. He can hardly wait to get on. If the Dogs are going to tackle like that, Mossy Masoi will cash in, but Josh Mansour already has. As I mentioned, 12 tackle busts last weekend. And one of his early touches tonight was all strength, a bit of speed as well. His 5th game back from injury.
Hit the right man, Isaac John, didn't he? The ball over the top was perfectly weighted.
The start from Isaac John has been outstanding, hasn't it? Setting up and then scoring the first try and passing for Josh Mansour. Having trailed 6-0, Luke Walsh is shooting for a 12-6 lead. From out near the sideline, it never looked like missing. Luke Walsh taking full value for Penrith tries in 2013. Sideline Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, I think the most worrying thing, Matty, is the fact that the Canterbury defence on a number of occasions has looked poor. That's the second time that's not a great read from Christian Inu out here on this right-hand side for them defensively, and Isaac John has caught him out both times, and that's going to be a concern. They need to get their attitude right, the Bulldogs. Maybe scoring that first try was the worst thing for them.
Let's have a look at this defensive set as Grant winds up straight into Tolman. And they get a penalty.
Move it, boys.
Yeah, easy metres out with the piggyback, the kick from here. It's a good point. Jim Smith about you're scoring an early try, and Canterbury did score such an easy early try to James Graham, and it only takes 1 or 2 players to take the foot off the pedal a little bit, and you're in trouble. Maybe that is the case on this right edge in particular for Canterbury.
Now Manu. Penrith having won 7 of their last 10 games against the Dogs. It's their best strike rate against any opposition in that time. And they've won 6 of the 8 games against Canterbury at this ground. McKendry fighting his way upfield and now forced to ground by Graham. Finucane was down low. Here's Walsh changing the angle through Simpkins onto Manu. He loses the ball as Laffey and Hodkinson combine defensively. Sicker wanted a strip call.
Well, there was a hand on the ball, but it didn't look like it took much to get it out of his grasp.
Wasn't a great carry from Sicker, but we have seen those sort of strips go the way of the attacking team, haven't we, in terms of a penalty?
Hold, boys. Hold
Yeah,
line.
well, I think they got that one right.
Take a look,
Stay in, lock
boys.
my arms right around. There you go, Trent. Out!
Finucane.
Yeah, and Penrith fans probably aren't happy with that. They see a hand on the ball, but for me, it's about if you see the hand ripping down at the ball, pulling it out hard. That's when you know it's definitely a penalty.
Short side, Kevin. Go, 2.
This is Hodkinson to Williams. And he gets a penalty. The Panthers offside. That was Williams' first run for the evening.
We know what happened last time. The Dogs got a penalty and they're in a pretty good attacking zone this time around as well. Panthers need to tidy up their goal line defence.
Well, here's Williams' second run. There were 4 Panthers there to greet him. Simpkins, Farah, Manu. Now Graham. And the Dogs come on the attack. Ennis to Finucane. Now Jackson gives it deep. It was meant for Reynolds to Morris on the first bounce. And he loses the ball but keeps one hand on it, not sufficiently, so the referees knock on.
Oh, third tackle. It really cost them, didn't it? The bounce, the pass not going to hand here and having to wait for it because you felt that he had a bit of space out there. It allowed Lewis Brown enough time to cover him. Josh Morrison, there it is. Does it actually come out? And
I don't think it does.
roll loose? Well, he didn't complain too much, did he, Josh Morris?
It's been a tough start for Josh tonight. The good news for him, there's still 62 and a bit minutes to play. Mansour. Stopped by Reynolds and Williams. This is Tim Grant crossing the 20.
James and Aiden, hold! Go, 2.
Manu fighting his way through Reynolds, but not Finucane. And now Kingston jumps out of acting half and goes through Walsh. On to McKendry, who looks for an offload and is put on his back by Hodkinson. A strong play from the Dogs' half. Walsh to John, a long ball, straight to Josh Mansour again. Isaac John has it on a string tonight. There was no margin for error there. And now Lewis Brown sets off down the short side, kicks and chases.
It's a great ball. He thought he might have been a chance for this too. Sam Perrott had a go at it. Canterbury winger nearly got a hand on it. The ball hit Mansour right on the chest. Good cover defence, good scramble there defensively, the Dogs.
This is Tim Laffey. Now James Graham. Tolman gives it. Hodkinson takes the tackle. Inu shows it and goes flat to Finucane to burst through. He looks around for support. There was no one there. Up to make the tackle. Lachlan Coote forces the ball free.
Kicked it dead, go to 20, mate. 20 metre. 20 metre, Josh.
What a great play from Lachlan Coote to shut Finucane down. It was oh so casual from Chris and Inu.
What a ball.
Nick.
That's where it comes free. They just couldn't get to him on time, the support plays. It caught everyone by surprise, that ball from Inu to Finucane.
Wait for the foot, Dale.
3 errors against Canterbury.
James, Tony, hold.
Grant will play it just short of his 30-metre line, and they go through. Simpkins on to Newton. Tackled by Hodkinson and Josh Jackson. Simpkins hasn't played as much NRL this year as he did last, with Adam Docker out injured. And Simpkins has come back into the squad and enjoyed it. McKendry over halfway. Now Walsh deep throw Isaac John. He holds it up once and put enormous pressure on his outside man. It was Farah who was tackled by Mitch Brown as the ball arrived.
Brown did a good job there jamming in. He's a man that put a lot of pressure there on Farah. It's probably not the right option there to try to flick that one over his shoulders. He knows his wing is unmarked. That was a low percentage play.
Mitch Brown in his first year at the Dogs after 4 at Cronulla, 2 at West's Tigers. Graham shapes to pass but takes the tackle from Kingston and Simpkins. Now Tolman giving it deep again, missing the mark. Reynolds watched it go past, and luckily for Canterbury it was cleaned up by Tim Laffey. Tolman didn't think of passing that time. Now Graham. They're having a busy start, aren't they? Tolman and Graham. It's Morris now. Quick hands in. Out to Penrith. Lewis Brown was waiting and gets him. Hodkinson. This is Jackson giving it to Ennis. He holds a pass again. The pass to ground. Williams received it flat-footed and he heads across field. Tony Williams waiting to straighten. Get out of the way, Isaac John. Now an offload for Pirrett. He throws it back in field to Inu. He bumps away from one. The ball spills free. Picked up here by Ennis. And the tackle count restarts. Inu. Ankle tapped, and that's the first tackle now. Graham flats in front of the uprights, and it's Finucane pulled down by Manu. Ennis, deep, Reynolds steps, ducks and goes straight into Simpkins. Players tangled up. Josh Reynolds accused of milking. As Finucane goes to Hodkins, and Jackson looked for an inside ball to Morris, but it was knocked on. And Penrith's goal line defence holds firm.
They had them. The Bulldogs had them all over the park, but it was good inside cover defence there by the Panthers, helped by the very, very slow play the ball from Josh Reynolds. T-Rex came alive, didn't he? And the crowd came alive at the same time. A couple of bumps, a good offload over the top. Inu trying his best. That was ripped out. That's where the 6 again occurred. It was only 2 tackles later that was a mistake on the inside ball.
This start by Penrith would have delighted Ivan Cleary. Look at Canterbury tackled in the opposition 20, 8 times to 0. Down by 6 points. A big week for Coach Cleary, extending his stay at Penrith. He signed in 2012 for 3 years and now will be there until the end of 2016 at least. It's hard to argue, isn't it?
He's doing good things. Made some very tough calls with some senior popular players. With this squad that he's got assembled here, despite a lot of injuries, he's done amazing things to be where they are, and still in the competition.
Morris has some room after retrieving the ball, and it runs out as Lachlan Coote arrives. Nathan Smith enters to give Sikamanu a break. And there he is, tackling Mitch Brown. Perrick off his wing to do some work up the middle, straight into Lewis Brown. And here's Jackson. Graham went flat, and it was forward. It wasn't flat. They've called the ball to Hallertau forward.
I would have gone with flat. Let's have a look again. No, I'll go with forward. That's a good call by the ref. Didn't look too bad to me from here, but they got that one right.
Jimmy Smith sideline, we spoke about what Ivan Cleary would have made of the first 20 minutes. What about yourself?
Yeah, well, I think I've never seen so many passes from the Bulldogs side hit the ground. It hasn't resulted in play breaking down, but it just goes to show how off they are tonight, highlighted again by that forward pass by James Graham. They're just a little off tonight, the Bulldogs, and the Panthers have been very solid.
I think they're putting them off a little bit, the Panthers. They're up and in defence, on the edges. And they're doing it every time, defensively, and getting it right most of the times. And it's just, it's catching the Bulldogs out a bit.
Now Walsh giving it for Isaac John, who's had a very busy start, a quality start. The Panthers 5/8. Walsh sits it up for Tim Grant, and he's put on the back by Halatau and Graham. Isaac John kicks this time. It went into the legs of a Canterbury player and bounced to be picked up by James Graham. They are missing some players tonight that might disrupt the team a little bit. They've also got some consistency as a mistake in the play the ball from Tim Laffey. Hands Penrith some great position.
Just 6 errors now for the Bulldogs. That's a pretty basic one. Could pay a heavy price for that mistake.
Just to finish that earlier point, they've had Perrott, Tolman, Ennis, Jackson, Finucane and Halatau play every game this season. So they have had a consistent core. But tonight, some wayward balls. And as Nigel Plum returns, there he is in the front row. Having missed the last 6 weeks, is that shoulder right? Is he ready to unleash another Nigel Plum special tonight? We'll find out as Newton takes the first tackle, 12 metres out. They've scored the last 2 tries, Penrith. Here's Plum in front of the uprights. He's stopped by Graham and Reynolds. Kingston to Walsh. A flat ball for Smith that the crowd didn't like. Having just been stung by a forward pass, they wanted another ruling. Kingston long to Walsh. Now John. Flat to Newton, who was hit as the ball arrived. It spilled forward, and Canterbury survived.
I think it might have gone forward too. That's one of those plays from Isaac John there. I think he made his mind up. That was what he was going to do. He needed to adjust. He needed to change his mind there. Look at, at the corner of his eye, he probably saw the Canterbury defenders staying on his man, Clint Newton. He needed to go out the back.
Go on, Nathan. March around. Head into the back, Lachlan. Head in, Michael.
Of course, it's always pretty easy from up here, not to say that.
Indeed it is. Halatau pushed backwards by Seguiaro, who's on. Kingston involved as well, so both the hookers on at the moment for Ivan Cleary. Reynolds to Jackson. He can't beat Walsh, Lewis Brown and Josh Mansour. Now Inu heads off across field, and as he went to pass the ball, he took a tackle from Seguiaro and dropped it.
Drove in, didn't he, Seguiaro? It's the speed at which he drives in here on Ennis that catches him by surprise. You see, he just flies in as quick as he can, and he's got the hand around the football as well. That across-field play worked for Inu 5 or 10 minutes ago.
Stay with us, Sam.
At that time. Gee, the completions are poor, aren't they? Canterbury.
Last weekend against South Sydney, they made 10 errors total. They're up to 7 already tonight. John to Farah. Now he's forced to the ground by Laffey. David Simmons from dummy half goes to Smith, on to Nigel Plum. This is Walsh to Newton, who took a good tackle from Hodkinson and Jackson, and he's been knocked out. Play on for the time being as Halatau runs back into Plum. But there's some concern for Clint Newton.
Well, he hardly moved. He seems to be conscious now. He copped a beauty. A swinging arm over the top. Let's have a look better on this angle. He's clocked him.
This angle will show it. Straight across the side of the face from Josh Jackson.
And I don't think he's staying down to milk anything here, Clint Newton. He was momentarily knocked out.
I'm glad you made that point. I am convinced he wasn't staying down voluntarily.
Thanks, mate.
And that look would back my summation up, I would imagine.
Josh Jackson.
I think Ronnie Palmer, the trainer there in orange, actually indicated he
penalty to Penrith.
was no good and he should go off. In fact, he's going to be replaced.
Well, they get a free interchange because of the fact the incident is on report. Josh Jackson to come under the scrutiny of the match review committee.
Here's a 10 here, boys. Up mid.
So Ryan Simpkins will come back on as a free interchange. And Clint can go to clear the cobwebs. Luke Walsh with a little tap to feign that option as the referee's pointed to the goal.
As the referee did that, he did a little chip kick to himself, and James Graham wanted to come up and tackle him. He said, you've played on. You've taken your kick. Newton out.
And Luke pointed him back to the goal line. Good banter between the half and the prop as the banter on the sideline is about how many fingers I'm holding up. 6 or 2 from 2 tonight for Luke Walsh. Both from tougher positions than this one. And he steers another through. It is 14-6 to the Panthers inside the final 10 of the first half. Will Clint Newton return after being struck across the face by Jackson? Inu puts boot to ball. It's a deep, deep kick-off.
There's been a couple of those from Inu that have landed about 2 metres inside the dead ball line. A bit close there.
Mossy Masoi.
Release, Josh! Go 2.
Here's Seguiaro jumping out of dummy half. Having done that successfully for 3 tries, now he gets a penalty.
I won't cop that. Go now. Go now. Nick, their hands on it. I'm not going to cop that, mate.
Stripping the ball and then back chat. The frustration mounts for Canterbury.
Let's go, Luke.
As Luke Walsh kicks for the sideline. Jimmy, what's the update on Clint Newton?
Yeah, just quickly, Dr. Norm Southern from the Panthers, who we saw working with Clint there, said, look, he'll be fine. There's a little bit of a tenderness around the right cheek, Matty, but he will definitely be back on the field tonight.
Hands out there now, Tim.
Good news for the Panthers as Masoi plays it 29 metres out now. Plum. Stopped by Tim Brown. This is Isaac John. On to Walsh, who kicks early in the tackle count for Simmons, who gets the ball, is pushed into touch, and the flag goes up.
He got a good jump at it, didn't he? The kick turned. Brown around, the Canterbury winger. Simmons got hold of it. If he had a player there right just inside of him, he could have flicked it straight there, but his centre partner Faro was a little bit too far away. Defended that well, Brown, but a dangerous play there.
Oh, boys.
3 Browns on the field. Mitch Brown, Tim Brown, both of the Dogs. Lewis Brown for the Panthers, who have scored as many tries from kicks as any team in the league this year. And used the tactic again there unsuccessfully. Jackson into Seguiaro. Tackled by Simpkins as well. Good run from Tim Brown. Now Halliday. He's tackled by Nigel Plum on halfway. Graham couldn't get away from Kingston or Nathan Smith. And this is the last for Canterbury. It goes to Hodkinson, who stabs at the ball, splitting the men at the back, and the bounce up in front of the face of Lachlan Coote, who goes to David Simmons. But he can't get away from Tim Brown, who drags him back towards his own goal line.
Well, they're calling for a lost ball there, the Bulldogs defenders, and half of the crowd as well.
A bit more than half the crowd, who won't like that at all. If looks could kill. James Graham too long on the tackle player, according to the referees.
There's a look. He's not happy. He's frustrated. But as the ref said, he needed to go to the side, not step over the tackle player. Who's he going to take that out on?
We'll have young kids who can't sleep tonight after seeing that.
He scored a try early. He should be happy.
Seguiaro throws it on the short side. Nathan Smith plays it. It's with Plum now across the 30-metre line. Into Tim Brown. Now Mossy Masoi. Straight into James Graham. Three big bodies there. Graham, Williams and Mossy Masoi. Here's Isaac John. Quick hands from Coote onto Lewis Brown, and Coote was rocked after he gave the pass, but he stays on his feet and runs into position now. The last for Penrith. It goes through John onto Walsh, who has some time and room. Now he kicks into Hodkinson. It was there for Simmons, who retrieves, but is pushed backwards.
Can't go back. Wait, wait.
Frantic stuff. And there are some Canterbury players really sucking in the big ones. They haven't worked very hard to hold this Penrith side out. Of course, they've made it tough for themselves too with too many mistakes and penalties.
Need to consolidate here. The last 5 minutes have been hard work for the Dogs. The opposition has had 75% of the ball. Now Tony Williams. Ennis. This is Tim Brown, a 25-year-old who played with the Dogs in 2010 and returns this season. In his 17th NRL game, Tim Brown. Lachlan Coote. Gone away from Ennis and has left Reynolds down behind him.
Tackle one.
Josh Reynolds, the Bulldogs 5'8". Copped an accidental elbow from Lachlan Coote as he twisted in the tackle. It just went straight into the chops of Josh Reynolds.
Who we got with the ball?
Thumbs up for Josh Reynolds.
Lachlan. We'll say something to you every time too.
Wait for Jerry.
Lachlan, it's back the other side of the line, mate. Take it back to the line. Take it back. Hold, go, one.
Did you hear the reverse lights then, Badge? Lachlan Coote sent backwards by a metre.
Not happy about it.
Nathan Smith. Far right to Mossy Masoi. He's wrapped up by Tim Brown. Holding the legs was Dean Halliday. Now Walsh to Nigel Plum. It's the last for the Panthers from 35 metres out. Walsh goes high. It's a wobbly bomb that sits up for Morris, and he takes it safely. Stopped by Kingston and the chasing Nathan Smith.
They've managed to keep him quiet, haven't they? Josh Morris hasn't had much of an impact in this first half. Kicked away from him on the ground most often. on there. Plenty of pressure on him once he caught it.
Ennis pushes away and takes a tackle from Smith. The Dogs completions barely above 50%. Penrith pretty similar to last week. They're up at 90%. They're above 75% again this evening. A long ball for Lafai to go outside to Mitch Brown, who kicks as he ran out of room straight to Lachlan Coote. And now Hodkinson is there along with Lafai to stop the Penrith fullback.
Oh, sloppy play of the ball. Got away with it.
Walsh. Under Simpkins. Picked up by Reynolds. With Jackson involved as well. Here's Isaac John on to Lewis Brown. Put some footwork on Tim Brown, but can't beat him. John goes long to Walsh, who shows it once and pulls the trigger on the pass to Plum. Seguiaro to Coote, who runs it and throws a ball for Mansour. Just one in front of him. The kick as he ran into Perrott is taken by Morris, and he's surrounded quickly. Nice option.
Good vision, yeah. Nicely done, Lachlan Coote. The long ball to his winger, and it's on nearly every time on fifth tackle with the depth of most wingers these days. He read it very well. As did Josh Morris, the Bulldogs fullback in cover.
Michael Ennis skipping out of one tackle. It was Simpkins who he beat. A pass for Hodkinson to be pushed backwards by Farah and Walsh. Now Tony Williams from dummy half. Brushes a couple aside and keeps going. Tony Williams, how did he get through that defence? Now Mitch Brown runs and kicks. It's taken on the fly. Still going. Lafai! What a try from the Dogs. Taking us back to Steve Gearon. Tony Williams starts. Mitch Brown kicks. And Tim Lafai with a fantastic finish.
He's just got to get in the game more, hasn't he? Tony Williams, nothing doing in front of him. It's only the sixth time this afternoon he's run the football, but look at the damage he's done. 4 of them. The fifth defender can only get his legs. He offloads outside to Brown. A nice kick. And Lafai, he wants to stay on his feet. Can he get to the line? Yes, he can. Wonderful try. The Bulldogs. Oh, get in the game, Tony Williams. You're just so destructive. It's fantastic and great work there. Well, Tim Brown, Mitch Brown for the kick through centre. Beautiful.
That is the T-Rex form rugby league fans, barring Penrith right now, know and love. We haven't seen as much of it in 2013 as Big Tony would have liked. But what a display. What a display.
That was a nothing set. I was about to say they have gone nowhere on their last set before half-time. Created nothing. Well, until that fella got the footy.
And Trent Hodkinson. Wouldn't it be fitting if that try is worth 6 points and not 4? The man who will decide is Hodkinson from the eastern sideline, just a couple of metres in. Successful with his only early attempt this evening. This one looks pretty good. It looks very good. At half-time, it is 14-12 to Penrith. But those players have some momentum now. What a stunning finish to the first half here at ANZ Stadium. Courtesy T-Rex, Tony Williams. We will break. And on the other side, all the first half highlights, including that one. What a try to finish the first half from the Dogs.
Jax.
And as he makes his way to the field
ladies and gentlemen.
As part of the Canterbury promotion, that man, Shiv Swami, was kicking for $1 million tonight. That was his practice shot. You get the indication he needs a little bit more practice, Swami. This was for the right to kick for $1 million. He missed, and unfortunately, Shiv Swami comes up with only a motorbike. Not a bad prize, but he's a long way from being an NRL goal kicker, and as a result, the $1 million stays in the bank. Badge, I thought you might have given him a few words to assist, because clearly Shiv Swami, a 29-year-old business student from rural India, hasn't done a lot of goal kicking in his time.
Hasn't, Matt, but those kicks you had before the game, he did a little bit better than yours, so I congratulate him on that. A bit nerve-wracking out there trying to slot them over for $1 million.
A great sport, Shiv Swami. Perhaps showing us that we will have a while to wait before India makes any impact on the NRL. But he won the right to have the shots. He had one practice shot, then he had to nail the second. Let's have a look again. This is the practice. Still some required. He had to nail the next one for the right to shoot from 40 out for $1 million.
It's the run-up. He just didn't get the run-up right.
The $1 million was insured, but the insurance agency hardly raised a sweat. We haven't been attacked here at ANZ Stadium. All the fireworks as part of the Swami promotion. The remnants are still to clear.
It's now known as the Swami promotion, is it, Matt? Well, I hope he's watching this game, because it is a cracker. He's not a rugby league fan before tonight. He should be after this one.
And the Bulldogs with that sensational finish to the first half. Tony Williams throwing Penrith players aside at will before passing for Mitch Brown to kick for Tim Laffey. And James Graham got them going with a 6-0 lead. He had a busy first half filled with a bit of frustration, but they trail by 2 points, the Dogs, and with victory tonight will wrap up a top 6 finish and a home final in week 1.
He was the creator of that last try for the Bulldogs. Well, an effort by Tony Williams. Michael Ennis, busy as usual.
Yes. Yeah.
The Panthers have won 8 from 9 as halftime leaders this season. It's a very narrow buffer tonight, just the 2 points. And just repeating, the Panthers have to win. And Plum, returning tonight, will return first up in the second half. Tackled by Tim Brown and James Graham. Now Mossy Masoi.
Tony Williams out there. Here, Tim. Go, Tim.
Seguiaro gives it for Kingston. So the starting hooker and the interchange hooker beginning the second half. Mossy Masoi, who sometimes is Mossy Masoi. Now Plum. This is Walsh completing the first set. Straight to Josh Morris. And Josh will return, marking his way toward the centre of field. And he's tackled by Kingston and Seguiaro. This is Mitch Brown. Ennis to Tim Brown.
He was looking for runners there, Tim Brown, but nothing happening. Never going to bust that line.
And James Graham. This is Tony Williams. No stopping this time. Ryan Simpkins down low. Plum up high. The last for Canterbury. And it's Reynolds kicking. The bounce up for Lachlan Coote. And he's tackled by Michael Ennis down to the sideline. Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, Matty, the word coming out of the Dogs dressing room, he would be really happy with that first set there, Sazza, because complete was the main focus. Too many errors. They need to get better field position against the Panthers side that do have the second best completion rate in the competition. As far as Ivan Cleary was concerned, he said, if you want to play in the semi-finals, these are the types of games that you've got to win. You're in front, stay calm, and again, get to the back end of your sets.
Thank you, Seguiaro to Walsh, and Nathan Smith slipped in the face of Hodkinson.
Well, it's not only the type of game they've got to win, it's a game they've got to win. They won't make the semi-finals unless they win this game, the Penrith Panthers, so we should see them quite desperate in the second half.
Walsh on the last, just drills it towards the sideline, taking no chances. And back to Jimmy Smith. Jimmy, what about Seguiaro and Kingston being on the field at the same time? What do you notice about the way they're being used?
Well, I think we've seen that a few times this year, Matty, and what they do is they get Kev Kingston in the middle of the field as just a middle defender. He does run it a little bit, but of course James Seguiaro is exclusively out of dummy half, and he's the one that really asks the questions of the defence. It actually works well. He ends up playing a lot of minutes, Kev Kingston, and he's, from a stats point of view, he's their best defender. So I think Ivan likes the fact that he can have the two little men on the field at the same time.
Right now it's the hulking Mossy Masoi serving as hooker. Such a scrums these days.
Just put your hand first. That's all you got to do. Heads into the back.
Maybe that positional change was forced a bit with Clint Newton having to go off. The chops that he got in the first half.
Work out of there now, James.
Graham plays it for Ennis to feed Jackson up the middle.
James, Kevin.
Now Tim Brown with an offload for Morris to take a few more metres. He throws it back to Tim Brown. They're sharing the ball around. He heads across field. He's wrapped up by Plum, Isaac John and Lewis Brown. Over halfway, Reynolds throws a long ball to Sam Perrott, who gets away down the sideline. He's thrown to ground by Lachlan Coote and cleaned up by Ryan Simpkins. Now Reynolds again running and stepping to the 10-metre line. This is the last. Ennis along the ground into the in goal. It's cleaned up by Coote, and they'll come under the crossbar.
A couple of very good tackles there. Quality play there by Michael Ennis. He knows he's going to threaten him down the short side. Once he gets out there and looks up and can't see anything happening, he puts it on the toe. There's the long ball from Reynolds. Well caught right out in front. Sam Perrott, no options on the inside. Has to take the tackle. A good end to that set for the Bulldogs.
And the Dogs forced the first goal line drop out of the game. Something this man is a plummet achieving. Luke Walsh. Instead, this time he takes the drop. To Hodkinson and Graham now. Ennis to the short side, dummying deep, going flat to Williams. He pushed Faro away, but not Smith or Walsh. Ennis quickly out of dummy half, still running Michael Ennis into the shoulder of Nigel Plum. Hodkinson to Graham. Stopped by Masoi. Ennis to Hodkinson, now Williams keeping the arms forward and throwing the ball behind his support play in Mitch Brown and over the sideline.
He really wanted to get that ball away, and he wanted to. This is a good effort again from Ennis out of dummy half, but stay away from that shoulder as much as you can, Mick.
Let's form up, Penrith.
He thought he could just get out of the tackle and throw it, and then he didn't reel it back in. Good defence at Panthers. Completion rates still too low there, aren't they, for Canterbury?
Don't go early, Michael.
Both teams with 20 sets. And for the 12th time this season, the Panthers are above 75%. Masoi up the middle. Good metres from Mossy Masoi. Tackled by Ennis and Tim Brown. Isaac John to Lewis Brown. Both these teams won just one of their first 6 games and then 7 of the next 10. To fight their way back into the season, the Dogs went on with the job. The Panthers have won their last 2 to come into contention. Coote goes long to David Simmons. Simmons almost gets away, but he's pulled into touch by Trent Hodkinson. The flag was up. And Hodkinson, on the league's leading try scorer, says you're not going to add to that tally right now.
He thought he was a chance of beating him, Simmons, but he's got pretty good pace, Trent Hodkinson. Stays with him, makes a good tackle, and at that point there, he definitely has a toe or two on the line before he throws it in. It's a nice ball, again, from Lachlan Coote.
So Simmons with 19 tries on top of the league. 3 times Penrith players have led the league in try scoring. Greg Alexander in 89, Reece Wesser 2003, Amos Roberts in 04. Here's David Simmons, about to be the 4th Panther to finish with that honour. Graham to Hodkinson, quick hands out to Laffey. He goes on to Brown, Mitch Brown it is. Laffey in the crossfield, looking for a runner. There was no one, and he takes a tackle from Massoy and Simpkins. This is Hallertau, the middle, a pass for Graham, who almost gets away. Nigel Plum across in cover on his opposite front rower. Ennis to Reynolds, now Hallertau again. This is the last for Canterbury, and it's Ennis to Reynolds for a chip in behind Mansour, who slips as he reaches for the ball, but luckily cleans up safely. Here's Lachlan Coote running into Graham and Tim Brown. He's getting through a lot of defensive work, Tim Brown, tonight for the Dogs. Sikamanu put on his back, you don't see that a lot. As Kingston runs into Jackson. And Brown again. Now Simpkins, stopped by Hallertau and Ennis. This is the last, still 15 short of halfway. Walsh goes to the other side, it's John kicking. And Canterbury win that battle because Perrott will take the first tackle in opposition territory, if at all. Eventually rounded up by Lachlan Coote. But here's a chance for Canterbury to take the lead again. Up 6-0 early in the first half. And now fighting back from a 14-6 deficit at one stage. Graham.
The game has really been played between the 20-metre lines, and not often one team has been able to camp in this territory. Let's see if the Bulldogs can score or get a repeat.
Here's a chance. Morris goes outside. The ball is taken by Laffey just in time. Tim Laffey crosses for Canterbury. He goes back-to-back as the Dogs go back-to-back. He scored last in the first half, first in the second half, and Canterbury are back in front.
There's the carry back here from Perrott. Turn them around. The Panthers never really recovered. The ball out the back. They put that play on so well and so often. And eventually Morris with the ball. Look at Laffey, just the juggle would have been hard in his mouth for a moment. He scored a great try just before half-time. And now another beauty just after the break. It's going to give them, the Bulldogs, the lead by 2 or 4.
He played just 5 games last season. Set back by a shoulder injury and a reconstruction, but here he is in game 14 of this season, 7 tries now.
Yeah, he can play. I seem to remember him playing right centre a fair bit last year when he was on the field. But equally adept on the left edge.
Hodkinson with 2 from 2 tonight. On an evening where you get the impression goal kicking might just be crucial. Both kickers yet to miss. Walsh 3 from 3, Hodkinson 2 from 2. And that's the challenge this time. Swami wasn't much chop. What about Trent? From 2 metres in, that's the way you do it, Swami. That's the way you kick for $1 million. That's good to watch, Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, outstanding. I hope Swami was taking some notes on that. Big Sam Cassiano and Greg Eastwood liked it as well. It's a pretty simple game when you consider all the intellect and all the thought that goes into winning a rugby league game. And Des, as I said, complete. They've done that pretty much for 4 of their 5 sets in this second half, the Bulldogs. They turned it over to the Panthers in tough field position, got it back in good field position and put enough pressure on them to score points. Again, it's a very simple game.
Let's see how Canterbury get through this set after returning to the front. They had every reason to be rattled in the first half, down by 8, with a player on report with passes going to ground. It just wasn't working. Now Hodkinson runs. Takes a tackle from Faray and Walsh. Graham again. That's his 16th hit up of the game, way ahead of any other player on the field. For Nukin, into Nigel Plum.
The best part of 30 minutes to go too. He played 75 minutes last week. Des hasn't got similar plans this week.
High kick from Canterbury, brilliantly taken. Lachlan Coote. He's a long way from the biggest player in rugby league, but he was above them all, timing that jump perfectly.
He knows the key to that is you've got to commit yourself. Look, you're not always going to drag them in. You might get a knock, someone will out-jump you, but you've got to commit, and you're a chance then of getting it. A great take. Now, penalty for his team.
Not now, Mick. Not. They're entitled to play, mate. They're entitled to play. Let's go.
And Jared Sutton and Gavin Reynolds in no mood to chat tonight at any stage.
It's refreshing. We've seen the game slowed up so much by captains talking to the referee every decision.
Here's Nigel Plum. A good run from McKendry. Seguiaro gives it for Isaac John. Out the back, Coote sits it up for Faray, and he takes a tackle from Lafayette. David Simmons gives it for John to dummy a couple of times. Around the boots, it was Michael Ennis cutting him down. Walsh back at the angle. And the offload for Coote, it was Newton injecting himself. Coote kicks and chases straight into the hands of Josh Morris.
It's not a bad play for Lachlan Coote. Probably a bit deeper than he wanted to. Didn't give himself a chance to get to it. But he also denied his team the chance to get a repeat set. Bulldogs off the hook. They look good, don't they, when they're going forward, though, the Panthers. Plum, great hitter. McKendry, another one right on the back of that. Just got him on the front foot.
Strong run from Clint Newton back at the angle as well. As Marty Tupau gets to halfway. Here's Tolman passing for Reynolds. Followed by Newton, but not stopped, and the tackle count restarts. It was touched by the Panthers. There's James Graham earning a rest. Hodkinson giving it for Inu to be tackled. Tolman. This is Tupau. At the back, he finds Reynolds, who runs and can't beat a tackle from John, but gets the ball away for Morris. Josh Morris up the middle. Inside the 10, he's stopped 5 metres out. Pressure here for Penrith to absorb Williams from close range. He's stopped by Kingston and Sikamanu. Hodkinson calling players inside. Jackson obliges. Across field to Tupau. Marty Tupau with a fend on Manu, but Kingston's around the legs again. The last tackle, a long ball. It sits up for Mitch Brown, who stumbles, reaches behind him, and scores. Try number 12 for Mitch Brown, who had a mountain of work to do.
It doesn't matter who stumbled the least scores or makes the tackle. Just have a look at this. Lachlan Coote comes across in cover. Brown going to ground. He's got him covered. No, he'll stumble. Brown's on the ground. Keeps the footy off the ground and manages to plant it over. It was a wonderful effort by Lafay a few moments ago, and this is a beauty as well.
Playing his 22nd game of the season. That's try number 12. Easily his biggest single season haul. The previous best was 4 for Mitch Brown, and he's in his 7th NRL season. Mitch Brown and Sam Perrott both having their best try-scoring seasons on the wing or wings for Canterbury.
A pretty good defensive game as well. There's some good options in the first half. Mitch Brown. David Simmons there, number 5 for the Panthers. Hasn't added to his tally at the top of the try-scoring leaderboard. That'll help the Panthers' cause tonight, of course.
Luke Walsh, 3 from 3 tonight. Tread Hodkinson, 3 from 3. It's been a goal-kicking display from the NRL players, at least. The half-time promotion, not so much.
Virtually the same spot as his last one. Back in my day, you could put it in the same mound of sand. Now it's the tee.
He's kicked 6 from 6 twice this season. We're about to see him go 4 from 4 from the western sideline. He starts it on line and hits an upright. It faded slightly at the end, and the first blemish for a goal kicker, sideline Jimmy Smith.
It looked like that pass from Josh Reynolds was going into the grandstand, but he looped it perfectly, and Mitch Brown was able to get across for that try. And in the end now, it's 22 points to 14, and it's a tough way back from the Panthers. And what's going to make it even tougher, despite the fact that there's just over 21 minutes remaining, they have just one interchange left, just one interchange for the Panthers. So it's going to be a tough ride home for Ivan Cleary's men.
They have a big 21 minutes ahead, an 8-point deficit, their season on the line. They fought so bravely through 2013 to still be in the race, but they're not content now.
A couple more missed tackles there on Tony Williams, and that's one of the issues there that has been one of their weak suits this year, the Panthers. I think missing the second most tackles, average about 30 a game, and they're getting up around there already this evening.
It's been another good set from Canterbury. This is the last minute with Hodkinson to go high. Simmons runs in, but the jump again from Coote doesn't get the ball. It was off Canterbury. In the eyes of the referees, allowing Tim Grant to play at the ball. A good outcome from the Panthers.
I wonder if he took a little bit of a punt on that, or he saw it clearly that it had come off of a Bulldog. His own player, Lachlan Coote, did have a jump at the football. Tim Grant ended up with it.
Mansour wrapped up by Tapau and Aidan Tolman. Here's McKendry across halfway. He's tackled by Jackson. Seguiaro to Walsh. This is Newton. Stopped by Tolman. And the last now for Penrith. It comes to Luke Walsh to go back inside to Lachlan Coote. He will stab at the ball, a chip kick of sorts. Allowed to bounce by the Dogs. Now it's in the end goal and grounded by Canterbury. So Penrith get a repeat set.
That ball was in the air for long enough that one of the Bulldogs players could have got to it, but Perrett's worrying about his opposite winger. Morris couldn't quite get there on time. They're lucky with that one. The Bulldogs. Frankie Pritchard there, liking what he's seeing at the moment.
Suspended tonight and happy to go and find his place in the grandstand. Sam Cassiano, Greg Eastwood, Frank Pritchard. Some big bodies on the sideline just freshening up for the finals.
Another small one that could get back next week, Bombarda.
And the goal line dropout goes 80 metres on the bounce. Meaning McKendry will only just get back to halfway. What a kick from the Dogs. As Grant winds up.
I didn't even see it. Did they bring Swami on for that?
Swami's happy in the grandstand. There's Lachlan Coote. He's tackled 35 metres out.
Sorted out his run up.
Here's Walsh deep for Isaac John. Now Sikamanu. He's tackled by Ennis with Tapau up high. Seguiaro flat. And McKendry drives his legs towards the in goal. Hanging on was Aidan Tolman, importantly for Canterbury. This is the last. A dummy from Seguiaro. The markers are awake this week. There's an offload. Grant can't pick it up. He pushes it backwards. Play on the ruling. Now Coote kicks across field. The jump from Simmons was high, but the ball comes free. It's a knock-on against Penrith on the last changeover after all that.
Spectacular stuff. The Panthers, had that kick been a bit deeper, he was desperate to get it, wasn't he? Desperate to get it, Dave Simmons. They were awake to Seguiaro after the havoc he caused for the Broncos around the middle of the ruck last week. They weren't going to buy into that dummy of his.
Marty Tupau. And here's 11th NRL game of the season. And here's a penalty for the Dogs. Offside the Panthers, several of them.
Not sure if they weren't square. What'd they do? They had 4 markers. Just didn't look right there, did it? The moment he stepped out, Michael Ennis, he had McKendry on top of him.
Still winning the penalty count, Penrith, but forced to defend again now. On the back of Canterbury's third penalty of the evening. Here's Wiggins. Pushing Fare backwards. But McKendry wasn't letting him go. Here's Finucane. McKendry the tackler again, along with Grant. Searching for a double-figure lead, the Dogs. Here's Reynolds running, giving it now. Morris trying to create numbers. He's driven towards the sideline and over it. Josh Mansour congratulated by his teammates.
He had to give it to him there, Reynolds, just to give him enough time to do something, but plenty of Panthers arrived to get hold of Josh Morris. See, Mansour, while they're driving him sideways, he's getting hold of the football so he can't throw it back in field.
We should wrap Lewis Brown as well, who was just as involved as Josh Mansour. Actually, the first man there, Lewis Brown. Just over 15 to play. 8 points the difference.
Finding it hard to make an impact in the second half, the Panthers, aren't they? Can't spend enough time in the other end of the field. Oh, there's a strip.
Strip penalty, strip penalty, strip penalty on the ball, Michael.
And you heard the referee's audio a few times. Strip penalty. More than one in the tackle, an illegal strip.
Well, you see there, Michael Ennis isn't saying as much to the ref because they're not stopping for him, waiting for him.
2 balls, hang on.
Love to see it play on.
It's been a no-nonsense approach from Jared Sutton and Gavin Reynolds. And as you said earlier, Badge, refreshing.
Well, it's speeding the game up.
Tim Grant, a good run.
Hold 10! Hold 10! Go!
He covered 156 metres last week against the Broncos. The ball comes free. Play on the ruling and went backwards out of the arms of Sikamanu. That's the ruling from the men in pink.
Go 2, Josh Reynolds!
Here's Mossy Masoi. As a bit of feeling starts to creep in. We're into the final quarter of this game. Penrith season on the line. Isaac John wrong again to Josh Mansour. He races down the sideline and is wrapped up by Morris towards the sideline and over it. Josh Morris returns the favour.
Absolutely he did. Yeah. 1-1 in that department. Only moments ago, Morris went for the corner and this fellow had a big hand in dragging him over. Well, Morris wasn't going to let him get near the line and he showed he's just as strong as Mansour. Good play. It's early tackle count too. Great save there by the Bulldogs.
Hold Kevin, wait for the out.
There's some stats for Josh Morris. Try assist, 12 runs for more than 100 metres. Last week in the loss against Souths, he was big, 186 metres. 4 tackle busts.
James up now, hold Dean. Go 1.
Just the 5 tries so far as Marty Tupau winds up, held by a leg. He took Kevin Kingston for a ride downfield. That Kev was grass skiing. Here's Finucane over halfway up the middle. A clash of bodies and Masoi spins sideways off balance.
Importantly now to the Bulldogs, they've got James Graham back on the field after a rest of about 10 minutes. They'll hold them together in the middle.
Reynolds kicks for the corner and it's scooped up by Lachlan Coon, who's dragged towards the sideline and over again. 3 players in 5 minutes dumped into touch, and look at the Dogs. Revving each other up, revving the crowd up. Jimmy Smith, the intensity has risen.
Yeah, well, Ivan Cleary talked about winning semi-final games. You've got to win this one. There was a semi-final intensity that's been brought to this second half, especially the last 10 or so minutes from the Bulldogs. What they've been able to do really, really well is control where the Panthers are getting the football. All the ball that they've had in the last 10 minutes is coming out of trouble, and they haven't been able to put any of their plays on, excepting that one option down there when they were bundled into touch before with Josh Mansour. It's been a very controlled performance in this second half from the Dogs, and I think it's going to be one that Des has, who's obviously a lot happier with.
That was a big play. This will be a big set of 6 as well for the Canterbury team. One thing they've been down on.
Ennis goes to Hodkinson, who dominates and runs. The ball was stripped or knocked free in the in goal.
Yeah, agreed.
Legal in the in goal with more than
Kevy.
one in the tackle.
Right, first tackle, had no try. Review, tackle and grounding.
So no try, the ruling, which seems an obvious call. But we'll review what happened in terms of the restart, I suppose.
And also how the football came out. The refs sometimes don't get a good view of that. I'm just going to talk about their lack of repeat sets. It looks like it won't happen here. Ennis down the short side. He finds Hodkinson out the back, heading for the corner. They need to hold him up. Looks like they've done so. Yeah, ball not grounded by anyone. How did it come out?
Knocked out by Sam Perrott. So it looks to me as if it's a knock-on in goal against the Dogs. It's Perrott diving in there that knocks the ball out.
Yeah, he was just trying to get hold of it if he could.
Penrith will breathe a sigh of relief. Their season on the line with that set right there. Mansour was more intent on forcing him touch in goal, and I think it's the arm of Sam Perrott that forces the ball free.
It's come off the foot of Mansour, but yeah, I think it's gone forward. He did throw it inside there, Hodkinson.
The original call was no try. That is the way it will stay. No try.
20.
And back to the 20 for the restart.
Wait for Jared to signal, James. Just wait for Jared to signal.
Wait for the foot, Dogs. James, hold. Go.
And we were watching the replays. The players that knew what was happening, they were all lined up on the 20-minute line for the restart. The last 3 minutes.
Clint Newton tackled by Jackson and Ennis. Mossy Masoi needing to score twice, the Panthers, with time ticking away. Just over 11 minutes left in this game, and maybe their 2013 campaign, as Farah goes back to Isaac John. Manu across halfway into Ennis and Finucane. Here's Walsh, flat to Newton, and the ball comes free for Inu to clean up. Reynolds to Sam Perrott. Forced backwards by Seguiaro, Mossy Masoi and Tim Grant. Tolman. James Graham back on now after a short breather. Ennis sitting it up for Reynolds. Hallertau up and in his face. It was Farah with a good shot, and Hallertau is told to go back and play the ball.
Wait for the whistle. Take a fall.
This is the debutant Lachlan Burr. Hodkinson kicks into the legs of Walsh. It's dived on by Hodkinson, and the tackle count restarts. More pressure coming for Penrith. Can they hang on? Lachlan Burr. And he gets a penalty. Lachlan Burr in his first NRL outing, a Canterbury junior who played 73 Toyota Cup games across 4 seasons. It's now called the Holden Cup, of course, the national youth competition. Stepping up this year to play in the New South Wales Cup. 7 tries in 21 games and hunting his first in the NRL. Lachlan Burr plays it for Ennis. He goes to Tolman. Now it's with Reynolds. Morris, quick hands. Now a dummy from Inu. Krishnan Inu crosses for Canterbury. Is that Penrith done for 2013?
Have a try. Review grounding.
Inu has crossed. The only concern is the grounding. And Lachlan Burr with an immediate impression. A couple of spirited runs, setting Canterbury up for the shift. And a try maybe for Krishnan Inu.
Well, if he hasn't scored, it won't be as bad as Akuyawade last night, but he looked like he did everything right. Had to throw the dummy there, did it beautifully. Still some Panthers players turning up from the inside. Oh yeah, clean, well done. Nice try. He's been strong tonight. Once again, Krishnan Inu, they leaked some points down his side early, but midway through the first half, he's been very, very good.
Here's the ruling. Green light for the Dogs. They go ahead 26-14, courtesy Krishnan Inu. His 4th try of the season. He joined the Dogs mid-season last year and has been pretty strong ever since.
Really important kick this, Matt. 12 points the difference. Slots this one over Trent Hodkinson, and the Panthers will need to score 3 times, and time's running out.
Three fantastic conversions, another off and upright and away. It's been a good night for Trent Hodkinson. Hodkinson to convert the Krishnan Inu try. 22 metres out. It is 28-14 in favour of Canterbury. And what does that mean for the ladder? Krishnan Inu applauds. And Dogs fans will like looking at that. Up to 30 points. Ahead of the Sharks, who have a game in hand tomorrow against North Queensland. That is the way the top 8 looks at the moment. Warriors in the 8, of course, after a big win earlier today in the short kickoff. Could have been predicted. It's worked again.
Up now!
Of course, that ladder's going to change if the Panthers can manage a late flurry of points. They need to do it very quickly, though.
I'd love to see a stat on the short kickoff success rate. Isaac John. This is Lachlan Coote.
They led 14-6 just before half-time, the Panthers, but just can't mount enough pressure.
A show of strength there from Lachlan Burr, picking up Tim Grant and putting him on his back.
Last tackle, Josh Reynolds, James!
Here's the last for Penrith. They need a big play. It comes with Walsh, who grubbers towards the in goal. What a pickup. Tim Laffey on the fly, down around his laces. He does so cleanly.
He did his best there, Walsh, to get it into the in goal and get a repeat set, but just too good at it there. Canterbury cleaning up. Back there through Laffey. Don't need to do too much special here, but show some real determination, the Bulldogs, to get themselves to the halfway.
There's a shot on Marty Torpau. It came from Mossy Masoi and it had a hint of shoulder about it. Maybe more than a hint.
Take time. Kevin.
Just hold the mark there, Rick.
Funky, I'll take it.
Well, he's got his arm coming up.
It's not your classic shoulder charge where you have the elbow tucked in against the hip.
Yep, it's got him in the shoulder, and he's saying he's making a tackle, and I think he's got a case there, Mossy.
That's just a good tackle. There was no high contact above the neck. The arm was swinging in the motion of making a tackle. That's legal. If we start having a problem with that tackle, we're in trouble.
Well, the refs are happy with it too, so they've got some good advice from the men upstairs, or the men upstairs in the video referee's box.
And the good news for viewers is that Martin Torpau should have the chance to return fire when Mossy gets the ball in a moment. Here's Ennis kicking from dummy half straight to Lachlan Coote. Coote stopped by Morris, picked up and carried backwards by Reynolds, Lachlan Burr and Morris. Here's Mansour. He gets an offload for Seguiaro, but was told to play the ball before the offload came. Seguiaro runs. Mossy Masoi was lining up, as was the Canterbury defence. Lewis Brown can't fight clear of Tim Brown. Walsh long to David Simmons. It's that part of the game as Simmons kicks and chases and gets a regather. This is the last, however. And it comes to Walsh. He goes long and flat to the grass, picked up by Seguiaro, who goes short to Newton. Newton back at the angle, throws it back to Walsh. He goes to Isaac John, who kicks along the ground. Time here for Morris to watch it roll into touch.
We were happy to see that go, Dad. He played up nice and flat. That whole set of six there in defence, Josh Morris, the Canterbury fullback. And whenever Luke Walsh looked up to think about the chip kick, it just wasn't on. Nice positional play there. And now Canterbury with the football, they're happy to see the clock wind down. You wouldn't think there's enough time for Penrith to do anything from here, especially without the footy in possession.
All right, let's form up, dogs. Sigga, get in. Get the heads in. Mick all the way.
So the Dogs, after losing against the Gold Coast, beating Canberra and falling to Souths, will celebrate a victory against Penrith in a few minutes, you would imagine, and go on for a final round game against the Broncos on Thursday night. They'll finish their regular season nice and early before setting their sights on another finals campaign. Last year's beaten grand finalists in the top 8 again. Not the treasured top 4. They'll finish 5th or 6th.
Well, we've had 13 teams in contention up until this week, Matt, but that's 3 gone, isn't it? The Panthers tonight, the Broncos last night, the Raiders this afternoon, that are all not going to make the semi-finals this year.
The last tackle with Reynolds, who roosts it. Hyde will almost come down on the spot. The bounce in behind the defence. Here's a chance. Hopkinson regathers and celebrates, icing a great Canterbury win. After they trailed by 8, they now lead big time. 18 points the margin with a kick to come. They've shown some poise under pressure, Canterbury.
Yeah, they're out of the game here, the Panthers, but they just flopped off here. No one desperate to get hold of the football. He gets a wonderful bounce, doesn't he? And Coote chasing, can't make the tackle on Hodkinson. They've all let it go. You're in danger every time you do that. Couldn't have got a better bounce. It's a smashing victory in the end, isn't it, after trailing 14-6, the Bulldogs?
Hodkinson, Josh Reynolds, the halves celebrating another try. A return to the winner's circle. And there's a brave band of players through 2013. Some had them finishing stone motherless last. It was meant to be nothing but a rebuilding season. And here they are entering round 25 as a real chance to make the finals. Something that won't eventuate now, given their poor differential. Defeat tonight and a final meeting next week against Manly at Brookvale. They're getting the likes of Brent Kite, Kevin Nagama, Tyrone Peachy, Will Smith, Jamie Soward, Sean Spence, Peter Wallace, Elijah Taylor. The recruitment is done as Hodkinson tries to add 2 more points and does. Just the one miss tonight and barely. It bounced off the upright. 34-14. Jimmy, are you of the opinion only the top 4 can win this comp, or could someone outside the 4 like Canterbury or Cronulla shock us come September?
I guess you've got to think about a Canterbury side with Ben Barber and Sam Cassiano and Frank Pritchard and Greg Eastwood back in it, and then you start to think about, well, they could pose a threat. Based on what we saw in the first half today, though, I don't think that sort of form is going to worry the top 4 sides. Although, as they say, Matty, it's a brand new competition come semi-final time.
Indeed they do, and it's just around the corner. Torpau gives it, and there was no one marking Canterbury on the left side. Down the wing, that ball was straight out of the NFL. That was Joe Montana at his best. You can come back, Josh Morris, because the ball from Mitch Brown was the biggest forward pass of the year, I'm sure.
By 10 metres. Have a look at this, where he throws it from. Not that always matters, but... well, he had a few players on the inside. Josh Morris. You can see the funny side of it. He wouldn't look too bad as a running back in the NFL.
They've given us some highlights tonight, Canterbury, and the odd low light. It's been a highly entertaining evening at Sydney Olympic Park. Be it the first half, the second half, or the halftime entertainment. Take your pick. And Penrith will finish with the ball. Simpkins flat from Coote. It went on to Lewis Brown. Now Isaac John to Mossy Masori. Quick hands from Isaac John on to Sycamore. The ball is knocked free by Hodkinson, so in fact it's Marty Torpau who will have the last play. And it's a typically spirited play ripped out by Penrith, so it's the Panthers. Sycamore running it at Laffey. I think he tried a grubber. And we finish on a scrambling note. It's been an entertaining night. Sadly for Penrith fans, their hopes finish here. But for Canterbury, they are back in the winner's circle, bound for a top 6 finish. And those flags will keep on waving for a while yet. It's Canterbury home, 34-14. Onto the ground, Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, thanks, Matty. It took them a little while to get wound up tonight, but this man was instrumental in it, James. It was a slow start for the side, but eventually in the second half you found your rhythm.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. You know, probably a little bit disappointed with the way things went in the first half, but you know, we showed some good determination to hang in there and only went in at half time 2 points behind. So yeah, we took a lot of positives out of that and really tried to fix it up in the second half, which I think we did.
You must have been happy yourself, though. You got the first try. That's one for the records.
Yeah, very unusual. Yeah, always happy to get over for a cheeky try. Yeah.
There seemed a level of frustration from you, though, especially during that first half. Where do you think the level of performance is for the Bulldogs when you compare, say, to last year?
Oh, you know, I think, as we've said before, last year's been and gone, and you know, we're going to need to get better than last year. You know, at the end of the day, we weren't good enough last year, and you know, I think teams have improved a lot this season too. So we're looking to go a lot better than we did last year, and you know, we're a work in progress. I think we're still working towards where we need to be, and just fixing up a few little things. But I think, you know, throughout the season, we've showed a lot of potential where we can get to. It's just about doing that for 80 minutes.
Big win tonight. Good luck next week against the Broncos. We appreciate your time.
Cheers. Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah, James Graham, absolutely excellent tonight, and I guess there's a great deal of disappointment for Luke Walsh, who unfortunately that sees the Panthers season end, Luke, and I guess it was a case of a good start from you guys, but in the end, once they found their rhythm, the Bulldogs are very hard to stop.
Yeah, that second half, they just ran all over us. They just played fast and we couldn't handle it.
What about the season overall? I know it's very early to look back on it, but there would be some level of satisfaction from the club about the way the side has performed.
Yeah, we just wanted to make the semis, but that was our goal, so we can't be happy with what we've done. But, that's footy.
On a personal level, I guess with the one game remaining next week, it's going to be a bit emotional for you too, making the big move over to the UK. How do you think you're going to handle that?
Yeah, I should be all right. It'd be good to have one last run around with the boys again. So I'll enjoy training this week, and we've got Manly next week, so I look forward to it.
Bad luck tonight, good luck next week, and good luck in England.
Good luck, mate. Cheers.
Brave tonight, Luke Walsh and the Panthers. It's been a good weekend to be an Englishman. James Graham with a big performance.